Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Well, listen, Tyler, his first court date has come. He did not appear physically, but he was there. You know how they put them on a video cam from the prison, and that's how he appeared. He really didn't say anything. Um, and they said he's still not cooperating at all. So he is not speaking. He's not admitting anything. So the only admission they got was from family and friends, but they haven't gotten anything from the horse's mouth. So, I mean, I guess he figured he's not going to make anything easy for them at all. So the appearance happened. He was charged. Um, Now there are some people that think he might not have been the only one involved in this whole thing. There may have been many people involved, but the only one they got is him. They don't have anybody else. So that's all they got to work on. And people are pretty much dragging Cash Patel, saying that he didn't do anything. If it wasn't for his family turning him in, they would still be out there looking. It's a lot of incompetence. But see, Donald Trump put people in all these different cabinet positions that had zero experience, and it shows. It really does. And but he got the nerve to look at everybody talking about this is going to be a merit-based society. It has never been that. It has never been that, and it never will be that. So, you'll hear the prosecution speak, and you'll hear the charges, and there's some news clips mixed in with, people reacting from TikTok. So let me go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. Shalom to everybody in the chat. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. All right.
As he handles this case and as the county deals with the publicity surrounding this case. We appreciate your being here. Jeff will enumerate the charges and detail. However, I may cut it off. I may assist him in helping to pick the people who are asking the question. We just ask that you keep the questions to the process of what we're talking about and refrain from asking questions that speculate or get into the political dynamic of the case. For Utah County, this is a murder case, and we're trying to keep the questions to that, but I understand that you're under pressure and have a lot of different questions, so we'll try to answer them. We're joined today by our sheriff and our prosecution team and our county commissioners. Jeff is going to be the only one speaking right now, and I'll introduce right now County Attorney Jeff Gray.
The murder of Charlie Kirk is an American tragedy. Charlie Kirk was murdered while engaging in one of our most sacred and cherished American rights, the bedrock of our democratic republic, the free exchange of ideas in a search for truth, understanding, and a more perfect union. It is also an offense against the state and to the peace and enjoyment of the people of Utah and of all those who visit here. But Charlie Kirk's murder also strikes a more personal and intimate chord. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a father to two beautiful young children. He was a son, he was a brother, and a friend. Like all murders, the senseless and needless taking of Charlie Kirk's life has shattered the lives of those he loved and those who loved him. To Charlie's wife, Erica, his 2 young children, his parents, his family, and his friends, I express my sincere condolences and offer my heartfelt prayers on your behalf. I also want to express my concern for everyone who was at Charlie's Turning Point USA event at the Utah Valley University, and all who have been impacted by this tragedy. As county attorney, I am charged with bringing justice to those who offend our laws. I am charged with bringing justice for those who are harmed. I am charged with bringing justice for Charlie Kirk. I am committed to these aims. I take this responsibility seriously. Today, after reviewing the evidence that law enforcement has collected thus far, I am filing a criminal information charging Tyler James Robinson, age 22, with the following crimes. Count 1, aggravated murder, Charlie Kirk, under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony. The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide. The state is also charging defendant with count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for moving and concealing the rifle used in the shooting. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for disposing the clothing he wore during the shooting. Count 5, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to delete his incriminating texts. Count 6, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to stay silent if police questioned him. And count 7, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor, for committing homicide knowing that children were present and may have seen or heard the murder and did so based on Charlie Kirk's political expression. Also, following the press conference, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime. Because we are seeking the death penalty, the defendant will continue to be held without bail in the Utah County Jail. Turning to the 10-page information, these are the allegations. On September 10th, 2025, at approximately 12:23 p.m., Charlie Kirk was shot and killed while speaking to a large crowd on the campus of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Police found the suspected murder weapon, a bolt-action .30-06 rifle, nearby. Over the next approximately 33 hours, police conducted a manhunt for the shooter until the evening of September 11th, 2025, when Tyler James Robinson surrendered to police at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. DNA consistent with Robinson was found on the rifle's trigger. After shooting Mr. Kirk, Robinson hid the gun and discarded the clothing he wore when he fired the rifle and told his roommate to delete incriminating text message. The shooting.
So a Utah district attorney will seek the death penalty for the suspect in the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. He announced 7 counts against Tyler Robinson this afternoon, which include aggravated murder, obstruction, and witness tampering. The DA says Robinson's DNA was found on the trigger of the rifle used in the shooting.
In case you missed it, Utah County attorney announced that Tyler Robinson is going to face charges for aggravated murder and the death penalty for the unaliving of Charlie Kirk. The full charging documents were released by the Utah County Attorney's Office. So Tyler has been charged with 1 count of aggravated murder, and yes, county attorney is pursuing the death penalty. And in Utah, according to the Death Penalty Information Center, he could potentially be subject to lethal injection or firing squad. Yes, firing squad. He's also been charged with felony discharge of a firearm, 2 counts of obstruction of justice, 2 counts of tampering with a witness, and 1 count of violent offense committed in the presence of a child under the age of 14. Now, what I find interesting about these charging documents is they're very detailed. They have a very detailed outline of what happened that day from the beginning of the day through the unaliving, through the investigation. They talk about the crime scene investigation. They give details on the casing, the Washington County investigation, including how Tyler's family got involved. They talk about Tyler's roommate, and they release very detailed messages between Tyler and the roommate. I mean, like detailed. The messages essentially show Tyler confessing, allegedly. I'm not trying to get sued by nobody. The messages allegedly show Tyler confessing to everything. These detailed charging documents also have deep information on his residence. I don't know who Tyler's attorney is, but this is a lot of detail to overcome. And I really suspect, regardless of how Tyler pleads, this is going to be fast-tracked. Like, I could easily see this case going to trial within the next couple months.
Tyler Robinson has officially been charged in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. 7 counts: aggravated murder, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, and prosecutors are going after the death penalty. And Utah is one of the only states that still has a firing squad. They found DNA on the trigger of the rifle. They uncovered messages where he told his roommate to delete evidence and stay quiet. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a random outburst. It was calculated, deliberate, and cold. And remember, this man turned himself in after a 33-hour manhunt, after his own father and mother recognized him in the images that police released. Think about the weight of that. I mean, a parent seeing their child and knowing the truth had to come out. Now, Utah prosecutors say that this crime qualifies for the harshest possible punishment, capital punishment. And in Utah, that doesn't just mean lethal injection. It could even mean firing squad. That's how seriously the state is treating this. But this is more than just about one courtroom. It's about what happens when political violence escalates to assassination, execution, when truth becomes dangerous enough that someone believes pulling a trigger is justified. Charlie Kirk debated with patience. He spoke calmly, even when he was screamed at. He treated people with dignity, even when they spat at him. And for that, he was murdered. This case is bigger than Tyler Robinson. It's about us and what kind of culture we are willing to tolerate. Because if they thought killing Charlie Kirk would silence him, they were dead wrong. His voice only grows louder. His absence only makes the fight for truth that much more urgent. Rest in peace, Charlie. Justice is coming, and the fight begins again.
Hey guys, today is Tuesday, September 16th. So we just got lots of audio in regards to Tyler Robinson. He appeared in court virtually for the first time since shooting and killing Charlie Kirk on Utah Valley's University campus last week. I have lots of audio that kind of goes through all of the counts that they went through. So we're starting with the first one.
Count 1, aggravated murder, a capital offense for intentionally or knowingly causing the death of Charlie Kirk under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others.
Here's the next one.
Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony.
Next.
Count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for moving and concealing the rifle used in the shooting.
And this should be count 4.
Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for disposing the clothing he wore during the shooting.
Next one is here.
Count 5, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to delete his incriminating texts.
Now this one's titled shooter death penalty, so I guess that's information on
I am
that.
filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney.
Says authorities say Robinson has been uncooperative while in custody, though family and friends have worked with officials. So that's the latest we have on Charlie Kirk.
So y'all, that's it. This is his first court appearance. I'm sure there'll be more. I believe now, after listening to this in court, they're going to probably try to fast track this thing, and it won't be the normal waiting time for a trial. They're probably going to push this thing through within a few months, and we shall see. But I think it's going to be quicker than him sitting in jail for the next 2-3 years waiting for trial. And I don't think it's going to take that long. They may try to get this pushed through in under a year. That's my opinion. You know, I could be wrong, but I think because of the way the climate is in this country about Charlie Kirk, and you know, it is so funny trying to watch them rewrite what kind of person he was. I mean, it's almost hilarious. They want us to look at he was a saint in life. He was not, you know, but they are seriously trying to rewrite what kind of person he was. And they're just trying to, oh, he was a good person. He just told the truth. Okay, well, then any derogatory thing we say about you, that's the truth too. How about that? That's the truth too. Anything we say about you, that's the truth too. No, you'll have a fit and try to retaliate. And as for all these people y'all are getting fired, all I see is a big lawsuit coming for all of y'all that are doing this, because you know, no matter what you may feel or say, the First Amendment still exists. If it existed for Charlie Kirk, it exists for the people that spoke against him in death. It exists for them too. That's all I'm saying. I see a lot of lawsuits coming. You may have gotten them fired, but getting them fired over Charlie, they really got a strong case. They really do. And y'all still got this attitude, everybody's going to respect him no matter what. Actually, they're going to resent him more because of what you're doing. And this whole thing is going to eventually implode in your face. For real. For real. And I would not be surprised if we start hearing about the first few lawsuits in the next couple of weeks of the people that lost their jobs for just expressing themselves online. And I did see that young woman, she was on a college campus and they had her arrested for getting in Charlie Kirk's supporter's face and talking about him being dead. They had this woman arrested, y'all. I said, you can't arrest nobody for that reason. That's why I'm saying the lawsuits are coming. Is y'all gonna have to shell out a lot of money. Trust me on this one. You're gonna be shelling out a lot of money to people for what you're doing. No, nobody should be fired over having opinions about somebody. You know, like I said, it's normal for people. Some will like you and some will not like you. That's life. That's real life. You know, and instead of focusing on people and the way they're talking about Charlie, y'all need to do something about your community. Okay, that's what you need to do, because that problem is there. And I see Donald Trump and JD Vance and all them are still trying to focus on the left. It was not the left. It was somebody that was MAGA that did it. And they are having a hard time with that one. Ooh, they're having a hard time with it. It is even said, I even read an article today from two different sources that said Donald Trump wants to make being on the left a domestic terrorist. How the hell can you make somebody that's on the left politically a terrorist? And actually, Donald Trump, the group you're in, there's more terrorists in that group. I don't know what you're talking about. And the fact that you had to pardon hundreds of people for January 6th, we already know where the criminals are. So this is where it stands. So he's charged, and people are debating back and forth, of course, online. And there's a lot of people that don't agree with the death penalty part. And it doesn't, just because he's being charged with it, it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen. Look at Peyton Gendron. They gave him life without parole, you know, and the same thing can ultimately happen for this dude too. I mean, who's to say he's really going to be getting the death penalty? But one thing I still notice, y'all, they are not coming out strong making videos against Tyler Robinson. You talk about on code. They may not like what he did. They may hate what he did, but they're sure staying on code. That's for sure. They are fighting to stay on code. Well, they claim they had his palm print on the weapon, and I think he left a few things behind. That's why they were able to do DNA on it and tie it to him. There were a few things left behind, including the bullet casings. They were left behind. The actual rifle was left behind. And I think they said some type of towel he had that was left behind. So don't know what type of matching DNA they got off of that, but they claim they do have it. Mhm. Yeah, I saw the footage of him running, but I also saw another guy running. Now, I don't know if he was involved, but I saw a bearded guy also running. So I don't know. The whole thing is just, it's weird. The whole thing is weird. Hmm. No. See, Christopher Clipper, it's different when it's us. Because I want you to think about it. Carolyn Bryan was alive for decades after what happened to Emmett Till. And look how they went above and beyond to make sure they never arrested her. See, when it comes down to us, they will go beyond to make sure we get no justice whatsoever. But you can best believe they're going to make sure Charlie gets his day in court. They're going to make sure somebody pays for him not being here. But when it comes down to us, we got many situations with these cops walking and George Zimmerman, Darren Wilson, and that cop that killed Tamir Rice. I can't think of his name offhand. Well, anyway, the bottom line is they don't care if people walk when it comes down to us. But you can best believe if this dude is the only one they can get their hands on, oh, they gonna charge him. Oh, somebody's gonna pay when something happens to one of them. Yeah, the injustice up in here is just unbelievable. Yeah, these people are a trip. Mhm. Oh, Timothy Loman. Thank you, Miss Ebiel. Mm-hmm. And he's still out here trying to get police work. Maybe he can join ICE, you know? He can join ICE. They're desperate for people. Yeah, it's just unbelievable. But I'm sure this is going to get bigger and bigger. But, sooner or later, I think people in our community, we're going to kind of drop away from this story. We are. I think the only ones that'll try to uphold it are white people because they're the main ones that cared about Charlie Kirk. And yes, I saw Officer Tate and his lame ass, weak ass self crying on video over Charlie Kirk. He looked like a damn fool. Looked like Steven crying over Massa. What a disgrace. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, he was crying like a baby. And then I also heard about Umar trying to chastise us for over, not mourning Charlie Kirk. And Umar need to go sit down. If anything, he need to be arrested for fraud for all the money he took. And is that school auctioned off yet? I didn't even follow up on it. Does anybody know if his school was auctioned off? Because I know, he was claiming it was getting auctioned off and he collected over $1 million. He needs to be put away for fraud and need to go somewhere and shut up. He saved it. Okay, Bougie Barbie, thank you for that update. Talking about his bank account is frozen. I'm like, please. I didn't donate to him, but I know a lot of people that did. I know a few people that did, but I heard about him in that school. I just never did. But then again, I never was his subscriber at all. I mean, I saw him not long when I first came on YouTube. He already had his channel and everything, but I never subscribed to him. The only time I would watch a video of his if it was something going on. Then I might watch something of his. If nothing was going on any given day, I just didn't watch him like that. Yeah, well, first of all, that building needs a lot of work. You need more than some floors and paint on the wall. It needs a lot of work just from eyeballing it. Yeah, those schools are old and the plumbing and everything in them are old. You really have to renovate that whole building. It would probably take millions to renovate the whole thing. That's why it's not open. It's probably not open because it probably couldn't even pass any type of inspection. Mhm. Yeah, well, $500 dinner date? What, women paying him $500 to go on a date with him? Is he insane? Is he for real? Is that true? $500 to go on a date with him? Oh, hell no. Wow. I'm sorry, y'all. Even if it's a woman here and there, I don't see that going anywhere. I don't see that going anywhere. It's true. Wow, they can have it. That's all I got to say. If there's any women out there that want to date him for $500? Oh, hell no. There are many things I can do with $500. Many things I can do if I going out on a date for $500, a dinner date. Mm, wow. All right, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I got another one coming at 8:45 and it's on the low birth rate. And I didn't realize they did a story on it again back in August. So I'm just kind of getting caught up on that. So that will be at 8:45. I hope to see you there. And thank you for coming. Shalom, family.